Anything. ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुक्तापदाकामलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपा साग्रजता सागना रघुनाथान्वितं सजितं साद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदा सागना वदिता श्रीविष्णुपादितं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु बंधु जगपते गोपिशा गोपिका कंता राधा नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये पंचका Hare Krishna. You're welcome. So for this section, quickly we have to do revision. So one devotee can volunteer themselves to remind us what we did yesterday. Very quickly, 5 minutes.
Okay, Prabhu. Do it. Okay, so yes, we explained the purport for 8:15 yesterday, right? It was a really extensive explanation about the 5 kinds of devotees. Aside from the purport, he also gave us the other 5 that intersects with these kinds of devotees, like the Jnana Bhakta, what's the second one? Wait a second, Prabhu, huh? Here it is, 8:14. The Jnana Bhakta, we have the Sudha Bhakta, Brahma Bhakta, Prema Para Bhakta, and Uddhava Bhakta. So you gave a few examples for each bhaktas, right? I don't think I have time to explain them all. But for the Jnana Bhakta, we have Bharat Maharaj. For Sudha Bhakta, we have Ambarish Maharaj. Prema Bhakta, you gave Hanumanji. For Prema Para Bhakta, you gave an example of Arjuna, Krishna and Arjuna's relationship. Then for the 5th one, which is Uddhava Bhakta, you gave what is your example here, Prabhu? Uddhava. Prematura Bhakta, actually. Your example is Uddhava. Okay? For 8:15, ang dami kong notes, grabe. For 8:15, we discussed that, what is this? Right from the Brahma Loka down to the lowest planets, there, like this planetary system, birth and death, old age and misery still occur. Hence, we should strive to attain the highest perfection, which is to go back to Krishna's planet. But if you come to his abode, the Vaikuntha Loka, which can only be attained through pure unalloyed devotion, then you will never go back to the place of miseries, as explained. Okay, what else? You told us that, actually, according to Krishna, Karma Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, and Jnana Mishra Bhakti, they're not enough to attain Krishna's planet. You have to engage in unalloyed pure devotion to Krishna. Okay. Also, we discussed different planets, Prabhu, the 7 heavenly planets. I'm just gonna mention Swargaloka, Mahaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, and Satyaloka. For Swargaloka, you gave an example for a Grihashta. If a Grihashta is engaged in Karma Mishra Bhakti, the highest that he can attain is only Swargaloka, or the heavenly planets. But if you're a devotee who have no material desires, and you're pure in your spiritual activity, then you can go to an even higher plane, which is Mahaloka. Okay, there's a planet above the heavenly planets. Then if you're practicing yoga, jnana, mishra, bhakti, then and you have no material desire and you practice celibacy, you may attain Tapaloka, Janaloka, and Satyaloka. The main point here is unless we engage in pure unalloyed devotion to Krishna and become free from material desires, then we cannot go back to his kingdom. Okay. We also mentioned two kinds of pure devotees in this section for 815. One without material desire and engages in pure devotional service, and the one who is fully surrendered to Krishna. And we have to be the second one. Okay. For 816. Okay, this is quite old. You mentioned that Srila Prabhupada asked his devotees why we shouldn't give up chanting the Maha Mantra, right? And a lot of them answered that it was instructed by their guru or they want to attain perfection. But Srila Prabhupada said that we shouldn't give up in chanting because when we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we experience Krishna. We can feel him. So because you sincerely chant his holy name, then we feel closer to Krishna. And through this, we can attain the higher perfection at the time of death. Okay? Okay. For the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that the devotees who desire to go to other higher planets and attain them, even if they remain engaging in spiritual life in those higher planets with without material desire or with material desire? Without material desire. When the whole universe is being annihilated, they will all be liberated by Lord Brahma and go to Vaikuntha planets. However, for those who still have material desires, even in spiritual planets, and they don't engage in pure devotional service, once the universe is annihilated, they will go back to the material planes, the material planets, and be again subjected to the endless cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death. That's it, Prabhu. I'm sorry if it takes me too long to read, Prabhu, because I feel like I'm being possessed when I'm writing these notes. I don't know the person who wrote this. Prabhu, it's really bad. My handwriting.
No, but it's okay. I'm very happy, and I really appreciate that you are writing notes down. Even after this class, you can always go through your notes. At least you can always remember something. So, and also you are sharing it with all of us. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So, but I want other devotees not only clapping. I want other devotees to step up also. Okay. See, not only appreciating and smiling. I want other devotees to step up also. That does not mean that Nikki Mataji, tomorrow you tell me that I ask you to stop. I'm not telling you to stop. I'm just telling other devotees to step up also. But I appreciate your notes. I really appreciate that. One is stepping up, we can continue, no problem. But I want other devotees to step up also. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue. So we stopped at 8:16 yesterday, where Krishna was explaining about from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of miseries wherein repeated births and death take place. But one who attained to Mahabodh, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. And Krishna is going to further describe about this nature of material world, how temporary it is, how everything is annihilated, even though it may take as long as Lord Brahma's day or night. No matter how long it may be, it still comes to an end. But Krishna's abode is eternal. You see, Lord Brahma, if you calculate the lifetime of Lord Brahma according to the calculation done before by devotees, Prabhupada also mentioned in one of his purport in Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahma's lifespan is 311 trillion years. In 311 trillion years, we have only 100 years to live, 100 lifespan. Whenever we come, we appear. You see, if you are in a dog body may spend maybe 10 or 15 years, that is its own 100 years. Whatever body you have, that is your own 100 years. The 311 trillion years of Lord Brahma's, that is Lord Brahma's 100 years. Can you hear me? The line network is frozen now.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So Lord Brahma, we according to our calculation, we are calculating 311 trillion years. That is Lord Brahma's 100 years in his own timing. Similarly, all the other living entity, the body of a dog may spend like 10, 11, or 15 years average. That is 100 years. Insect may spend like maybe 30 minutes. Some insects, their whole life cycle is no more than 1 hour. That is their 100 years. So according to the living entities, their time is relative. So similarly also, time is relative. And all these times in the calculation of Mahavishnu is just half a second. Not up to a second. Half a second in the eyes of Mahavishnu. You see? Half a second. So that is why whatever drama we are performing here in the eyes of the Lord is just, it's like nothing. For us, it's really long time, but in the eyes of the Lord, it's nothing. It's nothing at all. Half a second, for us, it's nothing. Actually, time is relative according to the situation or condition we find ourselves. Nowadays, when I'm riding the bicycle, when I come to traffic light, the maximum timing in the traffic light is 120 seconds. But 120 seconds will look like infinity. When you are driving, when I stop at the traffic light, you're like, wow, no, go fast, you see. So you will not realize how time, how relative on when you get to traffic light. Sometimes 45 seconds looks like, wow, when is it going to change to green? Oh, be fast, And the minute they change to green, see everybody rushing. I think they have spent like 1 hour there, boom, boom, boom. But just only 45, 60 seconds they have spent there. But it looks like so long when you are in the traffic light. See, so time is relative. Similarly, also is mentioned when Krishna was performing Rasa Lila with the gopis, Krishna actually expanded the time to the time of Lord Brahma. Just imagine. But in the eyes of the in the eyes of in the material world, according to the calculation, was just one night. But Krishna already expanded it to be Lord Brahma's time. That is how relative time Krishna can make time, to be. So this Lord Brahma's, like in Krishna mentioned here, Brahma Bhuva Loka Punavatuna, from the highest planet down to the lowest, it's a place of birth and death. So one should not want to go to all these material planets. One should attain Krishna's abode, which is eternal. Once you attain that abode, you will never take birth again in this world. You will never take birth again in this. So that's what Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna in that particular verse. And let's go through the purport. Or have we read the purport of that one yesterday?
No.
We didn't read the purport of 8:16 yesterday, no?
We read
No.
We read that one.
We read.
Yeah, we read it. Yeah, so we are going to 8:17.
17. Okay.
So please, someone should read 8:17.
Okay.
Please read 8:17. Okay. Sorry. I have to wait. We have not read the verse. Sahasra Yoga Paryantam Ahar Yad Ramano Vido Ratrim Yoga Sahasratam Teho Ratra Vido Jana. So Krishna is explaining the Lord Brahma's calculation of time now. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day. And such also is the duration of his night. Just see how long is Lord Brahma's time according to our calculation. When he said, mentioned here, he said 1,000 of ages, means that a full cycle of Satya Yoga, Tetra Yoga, Dwapara Yoga, and Kali Yoga. 1,000 full cycle of all these ages is one Brahma's one day. Then another full cycle, 1,000 time is Lord Brahma's time. Just see the calculation of Lord Brahma's day and night. You see, this is what Krishna is explaining to us here in this particular verse, to tell us that no matter how long the calculation may be, still, it still come to an end. So let's read the purport.
I read it, Prabhu.
Please go ahead. Thank you for attending.
The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas, or ages, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion, there being practically no ignorance and vice, and the yuga lasts 1,728,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and this yuga lasts 1,296,000 years. In the Dwapara Yuga, there is an even greater decline in virtue and religion, vice increasing, and this yuga lasts 864,000 years. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, irreligion, and vice, true virtue being practically non-existent. And this yuga lasts 432,000 years. In Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the yuga, the Supreme Lord himself appears as Sri Kalki Avatara, vanquishes the demons, saves his devotees, and commences another Satya Yuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These 4 yugas rotating 1,000 times comprise one day of Brahma, and the same number comprise one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years by earth calculations total to 311 trillion and 40 billion earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable, but from the viewpoint of the eternity, it is as brief as the lightning flash. In the causal ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creation are all part of the material universe, and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe, and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary system. But in due course, Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death according to the law of material nature. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. 311 trillion 40 billion earthly years. That is the calculation of Lord Brahma's day and night. Let us do the calculation of one day. I want somebody to quickly add up all those numbers of years mentioned in the purport together and multiply it by 1,000. Then you tell me the calculation in one day of Brahma. Quickly, let's see the fastest mathematician here.
Prabhu, we don't understand your instructions.
Now, let me ask others whether they don't understand. Did you get what I'm saying? Mother Niarika? Mother Nikki? Did you get what I say?
You want us to calculate Lord Brahman's one day?
Yeah. So please, maybe you can explain to Chitai Chandra if he didn't get it. Maybe we understand your English.
Oh, shit. Hmm.
Do the calculation of 1 day.
Prabhu, I did not do the math, but I Googled it.
You have to do the mathematics. I want you to practically do the mathematics. What you just do is that you add all those numbers in the purport together and add 3 zeros to it. Then you tell me what you got. Add all the numbers in the purport together, then add 3 zeros to it. Then tell me what you get. This is like exam, eh? Who have gotten it?
So it's so it's 4,320,000 years times by 1,000.
You got, what did you get when you add all those numbers together?
4,320,000,000.
Very good. Then you add 3 zeros to it. That is one cycle.
4,320,000,000.
Very
320
good.
million.
So that is the one Brahma's day. Okay? Did anyone get something different or the same? Or nobody else? All you do, you are not doing the calculation. You are just. Show me your paper. Show me the paper where you are doing your calculations. Or share your screen. Or you are not writing it down. It will be very difficult for you to do the calculation just using phone. Mother Tripura. Using the phone, it will be very difficult. You have to. Okay, but did you get it? Did you get it on your phone?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's the same.
Okay.
4 billion.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Any other person? Show me your calculation. Thank you for showing me, Mother Tripura.
Actually,
Show me your.
I have a way to calculate. Actually, because every yuga is twice as long as Kali Yuga. So actually, if you count one Mahayuga, it's 10 times the length of Kali Yuga. So if you just calculate 432,000 times by 10, that is the length of one Mahayuga. And then if you times that by, 1,000, yeah, if you times that by 1,000, so then you
That's
get,
one day of Lord Brahma.
yeah.
Okay.
So if you calculate like 432,000 times by 10,000, then you also get the same number.
Thank you. So that is 1 day of Lord Brahma. So when you had that, when you multiply that by 2, that is 1 night. That is 1 day and 1 night of Lord Brahma. I'm just trying to show you the calculation, how 311 trillion years was gotten, okay? When you multiply by 2, that is 1 day and 1 night. Once you multiply that by 30, that is 1 month. When you multiply that by 12, that is 1 year. Then you now multiply that by 100. That is how they got that number. So that is Lord Brahma's 100 years, 311 trillion, 40 billion earthly years. In our eyes, it looks long. But in Krishna's eyes, when you go to third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a particular chapter there called calculation of time from atom. When you go and read that particular chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, you will understand that this calculation of Lord Brahma's life is insignificant in compared to Lord Vishnu's life. Just as one exhalation of Lord Vishnu, that is this calculation of Lord Brahma's time. Just see, all this thing is being explained to us to understand how great this Krishna we are serving is. All this is being explained so that unless you understand the greatness of God, you will not have full faith and love for him. You see? So all this is explained to us so that we can understand the greatness of Krishna. Just imagine how long this duration of time is, but it's just one exhalation of God. Can you conceive that? We cannot conceive it. Inconceivable. That is why his name is Achintya. Inconceivable. You see? So we should understand this point. So Lord Krishna is explaining this to Lord Brahma, that we will see at the end why he's explaining this. Even though this Lord Brahma, because he mentioned about Brahma Bhuva Lokal Punavatino, from Lord Brahma's planet down to the lowest, there's a place of better. So now he goes further to explain, okay, this is Lord Brahma duration of time, even though I mentioned that, right from Brahma's abode down to the lowest, it's a place of better there. This is the duration of Lord Brahma's time. But this duration of Lord Brahma time still comes to an end. But when you come to my abode, there is no coming back again. That place is eternal. That's what Krishna is trying to prove to us here. So let's go into okay, we have read the purport. Yeah. So we go to the next verse. Minutes. Okay. Avyakta vyaktaya sarva prabhavanti ahara agame ratri agame praliyate tatra gyake. So Krishna continues further. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state. And thereafter, when the night falls, they merge into the unmanifest again. So it means that in every Brahma's day and night, there's a partial annihilation. In the beginning of Lord Brahma's day, there is manifestation of all living entity. When the night comes, there's partial annihilation, not total annihilation. Total annihilation comes at the end of Lord Brahma's life. Okay, so when his night comes, there's partial annihilation, that everything becomes unmanifest again. Then when he wakes up, just like when we sleep at night, you just need to go outside and see. Everything becomes very inert. Everything becomes inert. Like nobody is moving. Really, you see any living entity moving. Everything becomes very silent at night. So similarly, also at Lord Brahma's night, everything becomes unmanifest. We walk into the body of the Lord. And then at the beginning of his day again, there's a manifestation again. So like that. So Krishna is giving further clarification to Arjuna regarding Brahma's day and night. Then he said, Bhuta grama saiva butwa butwa praliyate ratriyagami vashaparta prabhatiya argame. Again and again, when Brahma's days arrive, all living entities come into being. And with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Okay. So Krishna is describing about the situation of the material world to Arjuna. How even though, Lord Brahma has such a long lifespan or long day, still there's still annihilation and creation in comparison to his own abode that is eternal, where there's no creation or annihilation. Somebody want to read the purport?
I read it.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
The less intelligent who try to remain with this material world may be elevated to the higher planets, and then again must come down to this planet Earth. During the time of Brahma, they can exhibit their activities to the higher and lower planets within this material world. But at the coming of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. In the day, they receive various bodies for material activities. At the night, they no longer are bodies but remain compact in the body of Vishnu. Then again, they are manifest at the arrival of Brahma's day. Both Bhuta Pralayati. During the day, they become manifest. At the night, they are annihilated again. Ultimately, when Brahma's life is finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. And when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. In this way, they are captivated by the spell of material world. But those intelligent persons who take to Krishna consciousness used to human life wholly in the devotional service of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus, they transfer themselves, even in this life, to the spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such liberates. Hare Krishna.
So you see, Prabhupada explaining the purport, the reason why Krishna is giving this explanation. So even in Lord Brahma's abode, no matter how long it may be, still there's still material miseries, dukkhalayam, like mentioned by Krishna. So they say death and birth. You see, no matter how high you go in the spiritual, but like Prabhupada, like Lord Sanatana Goswami mentioned, if you're a devotee, pure devotee, goes to this higher planet, when there's this total annihilation, this pure devotee, they are able to liberate themselves to the Lord's abode eventually. So that is it. But for those who have material desire, they come back again to this material world. Okay, so let's continue. Krishna, now we talk about, after explaining this, we will go further to talk about when, according to the mystic, when to live and when to leave this material world and don't come back, and when to live and the living entity will come back for those who are practicing the mystic yoga. Parastasmatu bhavonyo vyapto vyapta sanatana yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyasu na vinashyati. Yes, there is another manifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. So this is the description of the spiritual world. Like in chapter, is it chapter 15? Krishna mentioned Nasasako Napavaka. He explained that in that abode there is no need for sunlight, there's no need for moonlight, there's no need for electricity. This place is self-illuminated. So Krishna is again mentioning here, yes, there's another manifested nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all this world is annihilated, that part remains. So that spiritual abode is beyond this material world. This is a very short one. Someone want to read the short purport?
I'll read it.
Okay, please go ahead.
Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. Superior and inferior nature are explained in this 7th chapter. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. When we become transcendental, actually, when the devotee become pure and you become transcendental, even while in this material world, you can perceive the spiritual world. You can enter into that spiritual world. Because that spiritual world is everywhere. But for us to be able to see it, we have to be free from the material bondage. That is why when you go to Vrindavan, even though Vrindavan is the eternal abode of Krishna, eternally always manifesting, is never annihilated when the whole material world is annihilated. But we cannot see it because of our material conditioning, because of our material illusion, because of the covering. But those who are transcendental, when they are in that spiritual abode, Krishna abode, the Vrindavan or Mathura or Jagannath Puri, they can see that that place is not different from the original, the spiritual abode and above also. Because this place remains eternal, even though they are present in this material world, even though when there is a destruction of this material world, the abode of Krishna, this dam, they are eternally manifest. They are always there in the spiritual. They are always there because they are spiritual. They are not material. You see, so this is always manifesting, and that is why when we become pure, when we go to this the abode of the Lord, this the dam, we'll be able to see. We can see. We can see Krishna there. You can see the eternal devotees of the Lord. One time, Gorakishola's Babaji Maharaj was in Nawadvip. And in Nawadvip, he was seeing Vrindavan, where a goat was trying to eat a tossi. And he was saying, at. And there were people who were like asking, what is wrong, Babaji? Say there's a goat in Vrindavan trying to eat the tossi. You see? So even though they are here in the material world, they are already in that spiritual abode. 100% they are there. You see? So that is the inconceivable energy of the Lord, the nature of the Lord. So we should pray to the Lord to give us strong desire to want to see him or to want to go to that abode of the Lord. Because unless that desire is strong, even if you engage in devotional service for millions of years, you will not attain Krishna. The desire to attain Krishna must be there when you are performing devotional service. If the desire to attain Krishna is not there, no matter how much you perform devotional service, you will not achieve perfection. So that desire is what makes it different. You have to strike. When will I see you? Oh, Krishna, not saying you, my life is useless. When will I see your pure devotees? When will I get the mercy of pure devotees so that I can attain the perfection of life? That desire to achieve Krishna must be very strong in us. It's very, very important. So while engaging in devotional service, we have to develop desire to attain Krishna. Avyaktochara iti aukastama o paramam gatim yam prapyana nivarta tetandama paramamama. That which the Vedantis describe as all manifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which having attained it, one never return. That is my supreme abode. Krishna described me that is supreme abode. You see? The supreme destination, Paramgati, that place from which having attained, one never returns. That is the supreme abode of Krishna. Okay, so this is the transcendental abode of Krishna, that we should all desire to go there. We may not even know whether there's one story of a Tukaram when I was watching the movie long time ago. So Tukaram was a very pure devotee in Maharashtra, always thinking of Pandurang, always thinking of the name of Krishna, always chanting the name of Krishna, 24 hours. He never stopped chanting the name of Krishna. The king tested him, tested his sincerity. He passed his sincerity, Like the king, he has been hearing about this pure devotee Tukaram. So he decided to test him with opulence. So he brought so much opulence, gold, and so many jewelries to him. So the wife is so materialistic. There's a very good example to learn from Tukaram. His wife is so, because they're very poor, so the wife is, he wants wealth. Every time we always chastise Tukaram, you're always chanting this name of your Krishna, God. Why can't you tell him to give us wealth? See our condition. So one day the king came to test him brought so much wealth to him and he was hiding somewhere. So Tukaram was not there. So immediately Tukaram came and he saw the wives appreciating the jewels and he was trying to test them. He said, what is this? Why are they, come on, throw this thing away. This thing is going to, give us so much trouble, like, and the wife was saying, no. So when the king saw how much detached Tukaram was, so he really appreciated it and took shelter under the feet of Tukaram. And also there was one time where, when you're a pure devotee in this world, you face so many challenges and tests, So one time, he did a business with one other person in the city there. They farmed together. So, but they tried to defraud him. They send animal to the farm to go and eat all the crops and all those things, so that when it will be harvest, he will not be able to pay back the money borrowed for the farming. So, but when they were doing the harvest, Krishna made it in such a way that the grains continued to multiply. So these are very wonderful, miraculous things that happen in Tukaram. So they begin to realize that this person is a pure devotee. So finally, Tukaram is a very great Vaishnava who left with same body to the spiritual world. When you become so pure, your body also will become pure, that your body becomes spiritual. It's actually, Krishna's energy is all the same in the eyes of Krishna. It's just like this electricity we are using from the powerhouse is the same. It's only when it comes into our room, when you enter into refrigerator, become cold. When you enter into the electric fan, electric heater, it become hot. When you enter into different, appliances in our house, it transforms to other different energies. But it's the same from the powerhouse. Similarly, all this, the so-called material energy and they are all same Krishna's energy. Krishna can transform it, and that is the secret behind the deity worship. Krishna can make his material energy to become spiritual. He has that potency to do that. So Tukaram was so pure that he went to the spiritual world with the same body. So when the Garuda plane came to come and take Tukaram, so Tukaram was calling his wife, say, let's go to Vaikuntha. The wife was asking, are we going to be happy there? Just that is how much she was so materially attached, You say, are we going to be happy there? You're talking about this spiritual world. I don't want to go. I don't know whether I'll be happy there. Then Tukaram left. That is one thing with association with pure devotee. It is mentioned, even half a second, if you're associated with pure devotee, you become perfect. Immediately after, the wife was not serious when Tukaram was with him. Immediately after Tukaram left, the wife became very serious in spiritual life. You see? So like that. So that is it. So this abode of Krishna is completely transcendental. So, but the wife was asking, are we going to be happy there? Because he doesn't know what it means. We cannot conceive. We cannot understand this abode of Krishna. With our material mundane head, we cannot understand. Because when we want to measure enjoyment, we are trying to measure enjoyment in terms of our material senses. But multiply the material enjoyment million folds. It doesn't come, it's not come close to the spiritual drop of a spiritual bliss. You cannot compare it. Drop of spiritual bliss. The whole material pleasure, multiply it million times. You cannot compare it to a drop of spiritual bliss. Talk less of when we talk about you swimming in that ocean of spiritual bliss. You cannot even conceive it. Just forget it. Our brain cannot conceive it. Just pray for Krishna to give us some glimpse of this realization one day. See, these are the things, when we read the scripture, we have to meditate on them and pray to Krishna, please give us some realization so that we can become attached to these things. Because when you pray, when you desire it, then Krishna will show you, because it's what you desire, you get. If you don't desire, you don't get it. If you don't want spiritual realization, why will Krishna give it to you? So when we desire it, Krishna give it to us, then you can experience, you can understand that these things are real. Then we become more serious with them, for chasing after them. So here Krishna is describing that is about how, it's infallible, supreme destination, that place which having attained it, will never return to this material world. So let's read the purport. Somebody can read, please.
I will, Prabhuji. The supreme abode of the
Please.
personality of Godhead, Krishna, is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dhama, a place where all desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavana, is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees called desire trees that supply any type of eatable upon demand. And there are cows, known as Surabhi cows, which supplies a limitless supply of milk. In this abode, the Lord is served by hundreds of thousands of goddesses of fortune, Lakshmis, and he is called Govinda, the primal Lord and the cause of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Kvanantam. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the worlds. His eyes are like lotus petals, and the color of his body is like the color of clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode, Goloka Vrindavana, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita. Vedic literatures, Katha Upanishad 1.3.11, state that there is nothing superior to the abode of the Supreme Godhead, and that abode is this ultimate destination. Purusha na param kinchit sa kashta paramagati. When one attains to it, he never returns to the material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are non-different, being of the same quality. On this earth, Vrindavana, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of that supreme Goloka Vrindavana located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this earth, he sported on that particular tract of land known as Vrindavana, comprising about 84 square miles in the district of Mathura, India. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So you can see how Prabhupada described this abode of Krishna directly from Shiv Brahma Samhita. You know, I remember those days in temple when I was in Lagos, we always recite Shiv Brahma Samhita every Sunday morning. So wonderful. When we recite it, you know, that is how we memorize the Brahma Samhita, some of the shlokas of Brahma Samhita. Then when we read this translation, it's so sweet, describing the spiritual abode of Krishna. Only for very few self-realized souls in this world. That is how he ended it, that description of Goloka Vrindavana. He said, only to the very few self-realized souls in this world. So that abode of Krishna, you see, unless we desire to go there, we cannot live, we cannot become detached from material enjoyment. We cannot be detached from, you know, this bondage of this material life. Our desire has to be very strong. When our desire becomes so strong to go to this abode of Krishna, then you will see how our devotional activities will be so much. You know, it's a very wonderful place being described in Srimad Brahma Samhita. We need to read the Srimad Brahma Samhita. Let me open to that particular place in Srimad Brahma Samhita. 1 minute. Let's just read that final verse of Srimad Brahma Samhita, where this proper description in the purport is mentioned. I love reading that that particular verse. Where is Brahma Samhita? Okay, I found it. 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. I want somebody to read this, the translation of this description of Krishna's abode in Brahma Samhita. Please read. Who is reading?
Okay, I'll read.
Go, Nikki.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, translation. I worship that transcendental seed known as Vipa, whereas loving concerts. Oops.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
Okay. Whereas loving concerts, the Lakshmis, in their unalloyed spiritual essence, practice the amorous service of the Supreme Lord Krishna as their only lover, where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree, where the soil is the purpose gem, all water is nectar, every word is a song, every gate is a dance, the flute is the favorite attendant, effulgence is full of transcendental bliss, and the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty, where numberless milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk, where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is ever present and without past or future, and hence is not subject to quality of passing away, even for the space of half a moment. The Ram is known as Goloka only to a very few self-realized souls in this world. Hare Krishna.
Only to the very few self-realized souls in this world. You see, only to very few self-realized souls. So that is a very special place that we all want to go, but we must desire to go there. If we don't desire to go there, we will not go there. The desire must be very strong also. The desire must be very strong. You may say, oh, I'm chanting Hare Krishna. No, yes, chanting Hare Krishna is okay, but you must desire to go to Krishna's abode. That desire must be very strong also. Then you will see everything will work for you to go to that abode. Just chanting is not enough. If you continue to chant, if you don't desire to go to attain Krishna, your chanting may increase your material desire more and more. Then you're trying to fulfill your material desires or chasing other desires. Before you know, you are becoming far from Krishna. But that desire to attain Krishna must be very strong. Then the chanting will bring you closer to Krishna, like that. So that is it. Any comment or question? We have 7 minutes more. Okay, so let's read one more verse if there's no question. I was trying to leave 6 or 5 minutes for question. Okay, after Krishna described that, so he continues here. Kurusha Paraparta Bhaktialavyastu Anayaya Yasyanta Stani Bhutani Yena Sarvamidam Tatam. How to go there? This Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Unalloyed devotion, though he's present in his abode, is all pervading and everything is situated within him. Let's meditate on that a little bit. Situated in his abode is all pervading and everything is situated in him, within him. Just understand everything is inside Krishna. At the same time, it pervades everything. At the same time, simultaneously, is in his abode as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Many people cannot understand this. They cannot conceive it. The impersonalists, they have trouble understanding this. How can the Lord pervade everywhere and still have his eternal spiritual form? No, he has distributed himself everywhere, so he must not have a form. They cannot understand it. They cannot conceive this. They cannot imagine that. But we are very, very fortunate by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Paramparam. We can understand this inconceivable nature of Krishna. We are very fortunate. So let's read the purport.
Read it for me.
Yes, please go ahead, Mata.
It is here clearly stated that the supreme destination from which there is no return is the abode of Krishna, the Supreme Person. The Brahma Samhita describes this supreme abode as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. All the variegatedness manifest there is of the quality of the spiritual bliss. Nothing there is material. That variegatedness is expanded as the spiritual expansion of the Supreme Godhead Himself. For the manifestation, there is totally of the spiritual energy, as explained in chapter 7. As far as this material world is concerned, although the Lord is always in His supreme abode, He is nonetheless all-pervading by His material energy. So by His spiritual and material energies, He is present everywhere, both in the material and in the spiritual universes. Yasvantastani means that everything is sustained within Him, within either His spiritual or material energy. The Lord is all-pervading by these two energies. To enter Krishna's supreme abode or the innumerable Vaikuntha planets is possible only by bhakti, devotional service, as clearly indicated here by the word bhaktya. No other process can help one attain the supreme abode. The Vedas, Gopala Tapani Upanishad 1.21, also describe the supreme abode and the supreme personality of Godhead. Eko Vasi Sarvagaha Krishna. In the abode, there is only one supreme personality of Godhead, whose name is Krishna. He is the supreme merciful deity, and although situated there as one, he has expanded himself into millions and millions of plenary expansions. The Vedas compare the Lord to a tree standing still yet bearing many varieties of fruits, flowers, and changing leaves. The plenary expansions of the Lord who preside over the Vaikuntha planets are four-armed, and they are known by a variety of names: Purushottama, Trivikrama, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesha, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Shridhara, Vasudeva, Damodara, Janardana, Narayana, Vamana, Padmanabha, etc. The Brahma Samhita 5.37 also confirms that although the Lord, as always in the supreme abode, Goloka Vrindavana, He is all-pervading so that everything is going on nicely. Goloka eva nivasya akilatma buddha. As stated in the Vedas, Shrutasvatara Upanishad 6.8, Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shuyate Swabhaviki Jnana Balakriyacha. His energies are so expansive that they are systematically conduct everything in the cosmic manifestation without a flaw, although the Supreme Lord is far, far away. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So this is the inconceivable energy of Krishna, Om Purnama. As he has founded himself and pervades everywhere, he still remains a complete balance as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only this can only be understood by the devotees, those who render all and unwise devotional service to him. So only by Anayaya Bhakti we can understand this inconceivable nature of Krishna, not by any other means. So quickly I will just share with us, we have 1 minute more. Read Srila Prabhupada's quote for test 21. I feel like we should read it. Okay, so anyone who can see can read from 21.
I'll read it, Prabhuji. Srila
Yes.
Prabhupada was once asked, while he was in Vrindavana, what is the difference between Goloka and this Vrindavana? Srila Prabhupada: none, but your mind is in America. Srila Prabhupada to Govinda Dasi: preach while you are young. When you are old, retire to Vrindavana and chant Hare Krishna. But you cannot retire unless you have preached sufficiently. The mind will agitate. If you have preached, you can retire and chant Hare Krishna. So preach as much as possible.
Thank you.
24.
So Krishna Prabhupada is telling devotees, you should not, prematurely just go and sit in the dam and say you want to go and renounce. Like you see many of them, they go there, before you know, they start doing business there, they start chasing after women there, they start, developing their material desire there. Some of them, they start buying nice bike, and they're looking at the other devotees' bike. They want to buy the more better bike. They will start a competition there because the mind is not purified. You see, so this is going on. So many of them run there and they will start taking their material consciousness there. So the Prabhupada said you should preach in your country or wherever you are in the material world. Just preach enough. When you will become old, then go there and chant, and your chanting will be very blissful. You see, this is Krishna Prabhupada advice for us. You see, very, very important. So we should take note of this. Pitamba Prabhu, you are laughing. You want to tell us something? Or is it okay? Sasha Mataji. Okay. So the two of you off your. Why are you two of you? Why are you offing your video? You should on your video. If you are here with us, you should do like others. Are you special? Two of you should on your videos. So if you want to speak, Ashaya Mataji, you show on your video if you want to speak to us, okay? So very nice. So that is it. If you still want to speak, you have to on your video, okay? So that is it. So Prabhupada want devotees to walk. Like now is a December marathon. You know, devotees join. I remember when we used to do the December marathon in Lagos, we leave by 7 o'clock, like normal working time of people, or 7 or 8 o'clock maximum. You leave home and come back at night, like throughout the whole day. You are out there distributing books, working very hard like others. That's what we do. Early morning, I remember Bhakti Damodara Maharaj. He was our Arina Macharya at that time, those days. We will leave home. They will cook prasadam. We will not eat the prasadam in the temple. Immediately the cook finish cooking the prasadam, we are taking the prasadam and put inside the traveling bus. And we are moving from the temple to where we are going to preach. When we are going to take that prasadam half the way. When we get half of the way, we will park. Just to save time, we will park. By the side of the road, the body will take prasadam. We are on the preaching, we are going for preaching. Then we get there, we preach all day. Then at night, we come back again. This is how the devotee preach. When you see the Maharaj now, nowadays, when you see him, you know, he's being worshipped everywhere, you know. Devotees like to take shelter from him, they take initiation from him. You will not know how much hard work he has done when he was young. You know, he has, you know, preaching and doing so many things. You know, when you see him, like many brahmachari, when they just come now, they see all these sannyasis traveling and enjoying, and they want to do like them. They don't know how much hard work they have done when they were brahmachari, staying in one temple, working very hard, distributing books. But they just come today, they are brahmachari 1 year, they want to be traveling everywhere like the sannyasi. We will not have that experience. You see, when you see that Maharaj now, people worshiping him, washing his feet, appreciating him. You don't know how much hard work he has done. I remember one time he was telling us, one time he went for book distribution. So as he was preaching, as he was doing the book distribution, so people surrounded him and he was preaching to them. And so one particular guy was an army officer. So he was very angry with him. He was saying, why are you preaching this your court here? He was very angry with him, you know, like he was trying to rough handle Maharaj. That time his name was Parishit Prabhu. So he was trying to rough handle, it was threatening him, and he tried to insult him in the public where he was preaching. Maharaj was telling us, in his mind, he was praying, Krishna, please protect me. Krishna, please protect me. You know, like he was praying to Krishna very strongly. And from nowhere, another higher army officer came. And he was asking the junior army officer, what has that guy done for you? Why are you maltreating the guy? What has he done for you? And he was just saying, yes, sir, yes, sir. And this senior army officer took this junior army officer and threw him inside the boot of a car and drove him to the barrack. you know. So Maharaj was telling us like that. There was another incident. There was one devotee, when I was the temple president in Lagos. His name is Tribhuvana Prabhu. He's now in Vrindavan. He worshipped the Goronitai of Shri Vrindavan Dam now. But he was with me when I was in Lagos, when I was temple president. So we used to go for this book distribution. So one time he was sharing his experience in book distribution. So we went to, he didn't tell us that day, but he told us after many years. So we went to that particular spot, we were doing book distribution, we went to a different direction. So he was telling us that there was one particular couple, he was trying to give them books. He was almost convincing them. They were almost getting the book. Then one man came from nowhere. He's a pastor. And the man was saying, why you listen to these guys? Why this guy, they are occults. Don't listen to him. And those couple, they were saying, please forgive us, this is our pastor, please, we have to leave your book now, but we really appreciate your preaching. He said, no problem, no problem. So this couple, they just drove away. But this pastor did not leave this devotee. Again, continued to harass him in public. And Tribhuvan Prabhu was saying, in his mind, he was praying to Krishna, Krishna, this guy is pushing me to my limits. I will become angry. Please, Krishna, help me. Like the guy was harassing him, seriously. But somehow the other was able to control himself and he left. Then 5 years later, so Tribhuvan Prabhu was moving from our temple because the Indian temple is very close to our temple. So he was moving from our temple. He was doing his japa because our temple in Lagos is in a big estate. So he was moving from our temple, going to another estate very close to the Indian, where the Indians have their own temple. He was going to the other estate where the Indians have their own temple. So as he was going there, he saw one guy sitting at the entrance of the gate, and he was looking at him closely. And he has forgotten the guy's face. And the guy was looking at him. He could recognize him. Then when he came close, he said, you didn't remember me? He said, no, I didn't remember you. You forgot? Now the guy was walking with clutches. His leg is broken. You forgot? He said, no, I forgot. I don't. He said, remember that day 5 years ago? Like, I was the one who stopped those guys from getting your book, and I was harassing you. Immediately I left you, and I was trying to open my car. A car came from nowhere and just hit me. And that is how I lost my leg. So now he was going to the Indians' temple to get artificial leg. You see? So like that. So you can see, devotee have all this kind of experiences. So when you see such devotee now, when you see Tribhuvan Prabhu now in Vrindavan, worshiping the deities, now he's become a champion in Vrindavan. Actually, he's preaching in the colleges in Vrindavan. He's going to a very fearless preacher. He's going to colleges in the Vrindavan and preaching to all the youths, Indian youths there in their schools. The temple have recognized him so much. Now they don't want him to go back to Nigeria. So whenever my Guru Maharaj wants him to go to Nigeria, they will ask him to sign an agreement. After 6 months, you get your return ticket, you come back to Vrindavan. Because he's doing so much wonderful preaching there with them, for them there. And he's worshiping Gauranitai of Vrindavan Dam. So like this. So when you see such devotee, they have work in their own country, and somehow maybe they come across some political challenge or some situation and they decide to go to the dam. But you don't know, but you just see the devotees enjoying, they become envious of them. Or you see the devotee doing nicely or preaching nicely or doing something nicely, you become envious of them. You don't know how much years they have been doing that. You don't know how much years they are put into that. So that is why as a devotee, we have to always appreciate other devotees when we see them, because we don't know their stories like that. So it's very, very important. In that way, we can get the mercy of such devotee when we come across them, Hare Krishna. So we stop here already, going ahead of time. We stop here. Yes. Shaitan Chandra is smiling. You want to say something? Go ahead.
Prithu Prabhu, he once told me that he was doing book distribution and Harinam in Ireland. And one time there was this fruit vendor, and he was so against the Hare Krishnas, And one time he brought out his knife. He brought out a knife, and then he was going to cross the street to attack the devotees. He went to cross, stepped off the street onto the road. He tripped, he hit his head on the road, and he died instantly.
You see?
His head smashed against the asphalt, and blood was pouring out of his head.
That is it. To tell you how Krishna protects his devotees. It's like that. Krishna always protects his devotee. Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, You know, I always protect my devotee. So that is for devotees. When you have strong faith in Krishna and you depend on Krishna, Krishna will never leave you alone. Krishna will always protect you. We just have to have strong faith. We have to, you know, pray to Krishna to give us strong faith in him, because Krishna fulfills his desires. He fulfills his promises to devotees. So that is it. It's very, very important. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for sharing that wonderful one. Yeah, Nikki Mataji, please go ahead.
Prabhu, I was just gonna relent because it's already like 8:11, so maybe next time.
No, not next time. Write it down. First thing tomorrow we take that. Okay.
But it's related, kasi Prabhu, to what you were saying.
So it's related. When we are summarizing today's class in the beginning, then you connect it. Okay, but make sure you write it down, okay? Hare Krishna. Mancha kapatarubhyascha kripasindubhyevacha patitanampa vanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. So see